Welcome to Intentional Podcast. I'm your host, Candice Ruggiero. Tonight is a special edition because we have an incredible guest joining us. If you're new here, Intentional Excellence Podcast is about helping you elevate your life by setting intentional goals, cultivating resilience, and striving for personal growth. Today, we are learning from a school principal how he embodies this concept, applying intentional excellence in both his professional and personal life. But before we dive into his insights and experiences, let me first introduce him. We have tonight Dr. Avi Slivko. Dr. Avi Slivko is a seasoned educational leader. He has been working in the field of education for over 25 years now as a classroom teacher, dean of students, assistant principal, and currently he is in his 11th year as a school principal. Dr. Avi has a doctorate in educational administration. He has a proven track record of success working in diverse educational settings. And he continuously strives for student success, community engagement through his strategic planning, professional development, and collaborative leadership. So I am so thrilled and excited to introduce to you Dr. Avi Slivko. Hi.
Sweet introduction. I can't thank you enough for your kind words. It's a true pleasure and honor to be here. How are you?
I am great, but before anything else, I really want to personally thank you because I've been working in a public school, other school setting, and I know how busy the life is of a principal because of the multiple roles that you play. So I am truly humbled and grateful having you in my show.
You know,
Do you have,
thank you.
yeah, do
No,
you
I
have
was
any
gonna
other
say,
thing? Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
Do you have any other thing to share with our audience about yourself that I forgot to mention?
I think you did a great job. I think that anything that comes up throughout the course of the conversation is going to speak for itself. And like I said before, for me, having the opportunity to speak to somebody who you as well stand alone on very high accolades in terms of what your accomplishments are and all the experience that you've had. The pleasure is really mine. So I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me, and I'm looking forward to learning as much from you, if not more, than anything that you learn from me.
Well, that's the reason why I love this podcast too much because we have a lot of things in common. So I'm really excited. And by the way, Dr. Avi is joining us right after a back to school night. And if you work in schools, you know how crazy and busy that is. And that is, I really appreciate you. And he's also joining us from his car. And
Ah,
so I wish you could see him better, but, we're trying our best. Yeah, so again, thank you, thank you.
no, thank you. As much as I'm joining you from my car, you're joining us from a hurricane. So I think
Yes.
you take the lead on this one. I'm just a passenger here.
So if you hear like something smashing, like I could already hear something like hitting my window, so I apologize. That's Hurricane Helene during our podcast.
Smashing on
All
your
right.
side, the hurricane, and he's smashing on my side. It's not a good look either.
Oh, just be careful. Please make sure that
Yeah,
you're
we
careful.
got to avoid all the snacks. So tell me,
All
how you
right.
doing? Let's talk. Let's get into it. What's going on?
All right, let's do this. All right, so in my podcast, Intentional Excellence, one of my episodes talks about resilience. Do you agree with me that building resilience is a key to thriving in the face of adversity? Yes, no?
100%.
Yes,
I
right?
think that one
All right.
hundred. I think that
Yeah,
in life,
so,
the key to success is not being the winner every single time, but more so
mm-hmm.
being able to lose and being able to take that loss, learn from it, get back up, and do it all over again. And that to me is what resilience is all about. If you're looking at it from the lens of a school perspective, that's what I want the students to be able to come away with. That ability to say, you know what, I didn't achieve my goal, and now I'm going to work a little bit harder to make sure that I'm figuring out what I need to do to accomplish what I originally set out. I think when we learn how to do that, that's a bigger key to success than any scores that you're going to see on a standardized test or the honor roll program that you're in. Resilience is very
Yes. Yeah, I mean, personally, that's something that really resonates with me because, like, when I talk about resilience, it's I want to talk about defining moments, and that could be a loss of someone, separation, divorce, or an illness. And I've experienced that firsthand last year. A defining moment for me is when I lost my husband, 2023. Instead of being at the beach enjoying, I was in the hospital saying goodbye. And Dr. Avi, that completely changed my life. I had to leave like within 2 weeks. I had to move from a big home to a smaller one because like I could see his face everywhere, and it was the house was too big for us, and financially overwhelming for a single provider. That day changed my life. Had to I even had like some kind of depression and anxiety over how my life would look like. And literally, I woke up one day, walked to my bathroom, and I saw myself, my reflection in the mirror, and didn't like what I saw. Like, I saw someone sad, unmotivated. And I was just like, that's not me. Like, I know myself. I'm usually a positive person. So from that day on, I embraced self care, self love, and I used that as my way to heal. So for me, that defining moment became my driving force to where I am right now, a big career change. So, like you, I believe so much in resilience, and I found my authenticity because of that
big man.
defining moment. You
Big
know.
man. And I think you touched on something so important, the idea that when you have these moments, you have that conscious decision that you make where you say to yourself, I can either go in direction A or I can go in direction B.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, that choice is yours. And
Right.
it's so
Yeah.
incredible that it doesn't always mean that it's an easy decision. And it doesn't always mean that it's a decision that doesn't take a ton of hard work. In fact, I think usually it does. It's not easy to look at yourself and say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with what I'm seeing right now, and I know that I have to make a change in order to get to my self-actualized self. And the fact that you specifically were able to do that after going through such a difficult, traumatic experience says a lot about you and your resilience as well. And I would add, if I may,
Of
a little
course.
addendum to that is that it's really, in my humble opinion, it's the feelings that you had are very normal in terms of going through something that's difficult like that. Of
Mhm.
course, you're going to feel those types of emotions, but it's what you decide to do with those emotions that really drives what your next steps are and where you end up going from there. And again, that's a conscious decision that all of us have the opportunity to make with that self care and with that ability to really look inside and reflect and take that time to understand and reconnect with who our deepest selves are.
Well, I also believe that defining moments can either break you or make you. It's just
Yes,
fortunate that you and I, did the latter, and we are who we are right now because of these defining moments, right?
absolutely. And I would argue that it's a constant struggle, battle, work. It's something that you can't just, at least for me, I'm not in a position where I'm like, all right, cool, I did the hard work, I'm done. It's continual growth. And I think that once you stop and you're not growing, there's no such thing as just
Mhm.
staying in one place. You're either going up or you're going down. It's kind of like an escalator. There's no such thing as
True.
plateauing.
Yes.
Like going to the gym, right? If you go to the gym and you get to a certain level to where you want to be and then you stop, eventually you're going to go backward. So it's something
Right.
that you have to make a daily habit. It's something that you have to work into what it is that you're doing every day and really take the time to mindfully look at yourself in the mirror and say, where do I have to improve upon and what do I have to do to get there?
And honestly, making these defining moments like life lessons for you to go back to and looking
Yes.
at yourself now, like I learned from it. Like I think that's the best approach. That's the best way to look at it,
Well, you said
right?
it well. I talk about it to my teachers all the time. With the field of education, you're making thousands of decisions every single day. It's kind of
I'm
like
sure.
I like to use, right. I use sports analogies a lot. I don't know if you a baseball fan.
Yankee. I love Yankee, but I still don't know the rules. I just like cheer for them, but you know, not
Well,
good
I'll
at
give
it.
you an analogy. So third base, one of the positions in baseball, they call it the hot corner. When somebody hits a ball to third base, oftentimes that ball's coming at you quickly. You don't have a lot of time to sit back and analyze what you're going to be doing. You just have to sort of use your muscle memory to make the play and do what you have to do to some degree. And
Okay.
in the field of education, especially in the classroom and administration, all day you're playing third base. You're getting these things thrown at you, and you have to think real quick and make it happen. And so my point is, I say it all the time, I make mistakes every single day. It's part of my
Yes.
reality. It's part of the nature of the beast. That being said, just as you said, what do you do from there? Do you grow, or do you let the
Yep.
mistake kind of make you curl up in a ball in a corner and say, I can't do this anymore? You make that decision. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah. If I share with you all my defeats, challenges, we won't have enough time. You know what I mean?
But
Because we just
but
go through a
Candace,
lot
but
of challenges.
100%. But think about it from this perspective. It's as
Yeah.
difficult as the challenges are, and nobody welcomes them. They're not fun. And yet, without them, how do we grow? How do we get out of our
Right.
comfort
Right.
zone to become who we're supposed to be?
And to be honest, the reason why, like, I'm a motivational speaker now, right? And the way that I express myself in writing is through my stories, my personal stories, and I feel that I have a lot to share with my audience because of those stories that I experience hands on. That I was able to give them a takeaway lesson from it, and it's more meaningful and relevant because I actually experienced it myself. So I'm actually using it for my career right now to share with others.
And I think that taking it full circle is what it's all about. It's
Right.
taking those growth opportunities and allowing people to see where they took you, good or bad, and
Mm-hmm.
giving people the opportunity to learn from that. And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be every story isn't a victory, but people
Right.
could
Right.
also learn from our defeats and from where we went wrong, so to speak.
Right. So, the name of my channel is Intentional Excellence, and honestly, I love that concept too much because for me, intentional excellence is continuously striving to be the best by being purposeful and intentional with your decisions and action. And like you, I have been in the field of education for 30 years, and I made this drastic move, like career change. I'm now a motivational speaker, a podcaster, and aspiring author. And for me, to really step into the new roles, Dr. Avi, is being intentional and purposeful with everything that I was doing. And you know what helped me? My planner. I have this black small planner that fits in my bag, right? So it has a daily, weekly, monthly, and everything that I need to do in order for me to become to do my role is I write down everything. Like, for example, um, for the week, if I need to create my website, I make sure that every day I have those little small steps in order for me to create my website. And I check it off once I complete it, and once I see those checks, I know that I could, attain my goals, and success is a possibility for me. And you know what? I also celebrate whatever success that I experience, whether it's good or bad. I mean, small or big, I celebrate. I could go for froyo or have sushi or buy a new wardrobe or even travel. I just feel like I need to celebrate myself in order to be more motivated. What about you? How do you apply intentionality with either your personal or professional life?
I love it. So it's what you're doing right now, just so you know, is according to a great book that I read called Atomic Habits, one of the top ways to make sure that the habits that you're developing are ones that you're able to stick with. In other words, what the author's concept was, and forgive me, I forget who the author was, what the
It's
concept,
okay. We'll Google
but a
it.
great book. Right, we'll Google it up, but a great book. What the concept was is that one of the ways that you can make sure that you're keeping a habit through is associating it with something positive. So, in other words, I'm going to go to the gym at 5 in the morning, but nothing's going to motivate me to do that. Nobody wants to wake up at 5 in the morning
Mhm.
and get to the gym, except if after the gym, I know that I'm going to,
Yeah.
I don't know, do something that I enjoy, right? Like eat like
Eat
something,
uh
right?
eat all you can.
Right.
Go to an eat all you can buffet.
Exactly, right? So that's exactly what you're doing. And for me it's the same thing. I think it really comes down to taking the time to think about what it is that I really want to do and slowly but surely putting that into my daily routine. So once I've established that my goal is, for example, to write in a journal every single day. So I'll set out that journal in a place that I'm going to see it. And oh, okay, great. I know that at 9 o'clock every morning my journal's going to be over there. I set the time, I set the place, I set the mood. I write it down, even if it's 2 minutes, even if it's 3 minutes, whatever the case is. And what I notice is that once you start doing things for a certain amount of time, I think it's different for everybody, but for me it's about 2 to 3 weeks. Once you start doing something for a certain amount of time, it becomes part of your
Mm,
routine, part of what you do every
true.
day.
Agree.
So, for example, in the mornings, one of the things that I do when I wake up before I do anything else is this routine called 7 minute abs. It's
Okay.
miserable. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it, but it's something that I do every single morning because after a couple of weeks, it just became part of the routine. If I don't do it, it doesn't feel right to me.
Right, right. True.
Um, and it's, you embed it in your life and you embed it as part of what you do and who you are. It's just I do my 7 minute abs every morning as part of my routine. I do that before I have my tea, before I do anything else. Like just let's get it over with. Let's get it done.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I feel like the reason why I came up with this challenge is because I can come up with 100 episodes on how we can be intentional in everything that we do. And I also wanted to share with you that I'm part of a speakers bureau. And when the owner asked me what your topic is, I said I want to be known as being that person who talks about intentionality. And he loved the idea. And he when he put that under his topic, he actually said, Candice, you're the only one who carries, well, at this time, he said, at this time, you're the only one who carries that topic, intentionality. And honestly, I think that it's a huge, huge thing. If people are intentional and purposeful with their actions and decisions, boy, we can accomplish too much, a lot. And like I said, I love this concept a lot. I truly feel that it can elevate anybody's life.
Absolutely. And I think not to make it too overarching or philosophical, but it's also all connected to a strong faith, however you
Yes,
define faith. And I think that once
right,
you have that idea, a faith in something,
right.
choose whatever it is that you want to find the faith in, but have that faith in something. Once you have that faith, there's a reason for what it is that what you're doing is, it makes it more meaningful. And so if that faith is in yourself, great. What are you going to do to showcase that you can accomplish what you believe that you can accomplish? You have faith in a higher power, great. What's my mission on this planet and how can I get there? You have faith in the way that the world can be, but where it's not, great. What do I need to do to make that happen? And once you establish that overarching goal and that connection to something that's bigger than you, that drives the intentionality in a very
Yeah.
large way.
Yeah, I agree with you. Wait, do you have the light on? Do you want to turn the light on so at least the viewers can see you? All right, there
Good
you
for
go.
you. We
Thank
good?
you. Yeah. All right. Thank you. All right. So let's talk about growth mindset. I know that's also big because I came from the field of education. We talk about
Sure.
growth mindset a lot. So, embracing continuous improvement for me means cultivating a growth mindset and learning to continuously learning to grow with whatever you're doing. Dr. Avi, um, how do you use that to create like a positive growth mindset to your students and to your staff?
Oh, beautiful. So to me, and I was just talking about it tonight actually about the school night, the most important thing that you can have in a school is a safe and warm environment. Because as I was explaining to parents, your child could be Einstein. Your child could be the smartest young man or young lady in the entire planet. If they don't feel safe, if they don't feel warmth, if they don't feel at home that they can be themselves in their classroom environment, they're not going to learn at the level that they're capable of. And so that to me is the core of developing a growth mindset. When you feel that you are safe, when you feel that you can be yourself and you can self actualize, then you have the opportunity to do that. If you're in an
Mm-hmm.
environment that's too focused on academics per se, or too focused on whole as opposed to each individual child, you're losing that opportunity. So in order to have growth, you have to feel safe.
True. I love that. Love that idea. And the first thing is safety. Like everywhere you go, even with your family, yourself, it's important to feel safe. Being in a classroom, feeling safe, feeling accepted, being safe in the classroom environment is very important for me as a teacher when I used to teach. Like
Absolutely.
I did share with you that I'm new in podcasting, and how did I use that? The first video, the first podcasting that I did. I watch it over and over multiple times. And even if I value authenticity, like when I talk about my life experiences and my imperfections, my defeats, my challenges. I don't care. I share it because that's how people are going to learn from, being authentic. But at the same time, I want the viewers to find value in my podcasting. So, what I do in order to continuously grow is I get feedback from my family or friends. In any aspect, could be the way I talk, the way I present my content, or like the editing part, just to make sure that like I'm giving them perfection in however sense you want to put it. So I like I'm a lifelong learner just like you, and I love feedback. And even when I was a teacher, when my principal would come in and give me feedback, boom, the next day I'm
Yes.
already making the change. And I feel that I hope people appreciate feedback because that's one way for somebody to grow. Like just being constructive and accepting those changes, feedback in order for you to have positive change,
And
right?
you hit yes, and you hit the nail on the head going full circle with regard to the idea of a growth mindset in that if you feel safe, if you feel heard, if you feel that the environment is the right fit for you, that feedback is something that's easier to accept
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times it's something that I think comes natural to a lot of people is an automatic sort of feel of defensiveness. Well, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing this the right way. As soon as you're getting that constructive feedback,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're in a place that you feel at home, that you feel genuine connection to, in terms of the relationships you have with people and also in terms of the environment, that feedback is going to sound more of a piece of growth as opposed to more of a piece of critique. So I'm thinking of a specific teacher that I have, really exceptional young man, very young, came into a situation with very little training. This is last year. And at the beginning was having a very difficult time trying to figure out exactly what he had to do, what his responsibilities were, and how to handle a very challenging classroom. And what I really was amazed by at such a young age from him was the ability to take that feedback in a positive way, not
Wow.
get defensive about it, and work
Yeah.
to implement it. And when he was
Mm-hmm.
able to do that, I look at him just a year later, and that leadership that he's already able to show, that comfort level that he's already to show, that growth that's so obvious and evident. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
types of things as a building administrator that I live for. I love to see that growth, not just from the students, but from the
Mm-hmm.
teachers as well. It's a beautiful thing to witness.
Well, you just mentioned it, leadership, and I'm sure it's something that you're good at, or you wouldn't be in this field for
I
this
hope
long.
so. I hope.
So
It
let's.
depends who you ask, and it depends what day you ask
Oh,
them.
I'm sure you're awesome. Let's talk about intentional leadership. For me, it's striving for excellence by setting clear vision and purpose. So, in your, as a role as a principal, how do you like how do you invite others for success, something like that? So how do you work on making sure that either the students or your staff are successful? How do you lead them to
I think
success?
it's a great question. I think the biggest thing for me, there's two. One, I'm very big on delegating, probably
Mhm.
to a fault. I
Yes,
probably I
agree.
probably delegate
Yeah.
too much, and I'm fine with that.
No, there's never too
To a
much.
degree. Well, I think I never want to be the smartest person in the room, and I'm not. I in order to ensure that people are self-actualizing and really being a part of what's going on, you have to allow stakeholders to lead and to be proactive to a point where if I was out of the school for 3 months,
Mhm.
I want that school functioning as well, if not better, than when I'm there. And the only way to do that is to allow people to grow and to allow people to really take an ownership of what it is that they're doing. And that's something that I
Mhm.
take a lot of pride in with my staff. I have a very proactive group of individuals who genuinely care about what they're doing and genuinely put their students and their jobs first and foremost. And when you see that, it's something that you can feel inside a building. And I'll tell you, I don't take credit for that. But where I do take credit is finding the right people and putting them in the right positions to be the best that they can be and to grow in a significant way. And when people care about what they're doing and they're really vested in it, it speaks for itself and it shows for itself. And it encompasses the entire community, students,
Yeah.
parents, and teachers as well. The other thing for me is I very strongly believe in creating a calm environment. So I'm not the type of person who's going to be running around the hallways, drinking a ton of coffee here, there, and everywhere. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I think that that's great if it works for somebody. As a building administrator, how you are, your personality, your adjustments to what's going on and what's not going on, that sets the tone in a building overall. And so for me, it's very important that the building has as calm, as
Mhm.
collected, as mindful of a feel as I could possibly create. And so those two components together are very important to me. I strongly believe in collaboration with
Yes.
staff, with parents, with students. I want everybody to feel involved. I want everybody to feel heard. As a building leader, sometimes it's my job to say, I'm sorry, we're not going to go in that direction.
Mhm.
That being said, I want to hear what that direction is, and I want everybody to understand that whether we agree or disagree on something, we all have the
Mhm.
same goal in mind, and
Yes.
that's the most
Student
important piece.
success.
You're not
Mhm.
always going to agree, and that's not only is
Right.
that okay, but that's a positive. As long as you all have the same overall objective, which is student safety and student success.
Yeah, and wait, if you're driving, can turn the light off? I'm sorry, I thought you were parked.
Oh no, yeah, I'm parked.
Okay, are
I'm
you
parked.
sure? Like I was seeing some
Oh,
flashes, and I
I'm
figured you're
sure. Yeah,
driving. I'm sorry.
I'm sure.
Sorry about that. All right. So I also believe that leadership comes in many forms. Like for myself, like I feel like I'm a leader as a teacher, as a mentor. I was a former school owner in the Philippines, and also here in America, I was assistant principal, pool and admin intern, and those different roles that I was in. I feel that I could be a leader, like as a teacher, if I can inspire those students to be better and to work on student success. I believe that I was a great leader. And for me, on top of what you said, I want to add that leadership is not just striving for success, it's inspiring others to become better and to become the best of best version of themselves. And if you and I can do that to our students, our staff, our family, I feel that we've achieved our goal. As we were a leader to them. So that's the reason why I went for two masters also, like educational leadership, because there was one principal who said, Candice, you inspire people, and you find the good in everyone. It's those three words that really resonated with me until now. Never will ever forget that. And that's the reason why I do what I do, because of those three words. You inspire people. And I feel that it's like my philosophy in life now, like just inspiring people and being a motivational speaker. I'm outside the four walls of the classroom. I feel that I'm just so excited, like doing this and even the podcasting, because I get to inspire people, leader or not. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I would
Um,
say, yeah, absolutely.
um, so Dr. Avi, if there is a concept, idea, or a quote that you want to leave the audience, or viewers with, what would that be?
Ah, so beautiful. I mean, there's so many. I'm very big on quotes. By the way, just to add to what you were saying, what I would include is leaders, build leaders. And so, in other words,
Yes.
the leadership that you have internalized is leadership that somebody was able to teach you, whether it was in person or from learning, whatever the case is. I think once you find within yourself a better sense of who you are and what you
Mhm.
can contribute, that allows you to take that leadership in whatever form that leadership is going to showcase itself in. I don't think
Yeah.
there's one tailor-made
Yes.
concept of leadership. It comes in a lot of different ways. Some are quiet, some are loud, some are visible, some are not. At the end of the day, it all stems from your belief in yourself. And once you have that, you can transfer that to other people.
Mhm.
To my point, the quote that has been hitting me lately is this beautiful quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which I'm going to butcher, but but it's so well said. Basically, he was saying something along the lines of, and I shared this with my staff at our opening meeting of the school year. He says, whatever job that it is that you're doing, you want to do it so well that they are singing the praises of your job in heaven.
Wow.
And so the one
Hmm.
that he's like, if you are a street sweeper, you should be street sweeping the street so well that they are singing praises all about that he is the greatest street sweeper of all time. And it speaks to me so loudly in the sense that no matter what it is that we are doing, whether you're an educator, whether you're an administrator, whether you work in a factory, whether you work in a high-rise building in New York in investment banking, whatever it is that you're doing, the pride that you take in that job
Hmm.
is what formulates that leadership and what people are going to resonate to. It really doesn't matter what your position is.
Yes.
It,
Yes.
right? It's really just
Right.
about how you go about it and what you're doing about it, and how can I go into something and not give it my best every day and think that that's okay. And just
Yes.
like you were saying, like it really comes down to finding that passion. If you're passionate about giving people strength, if you're passionate about motivating people, then it's something that you're going to do well. And if
Hmm.
you're not passionate about it, I think the key is figuring out a way to make it meaningful to yourself,
Right. Right.
because how you're doing it is going to impact other people either in a positive way or in a negative way.
Agree. I totally agree with you. Um, this was just a beautiful conversation that we're having. I
Loving it.
wish we could talk for hours.
Loving it.
But I just want to say thank you again for, saying yes to be in my podcast. And I'm sure that the audience has learned a lot of insight and valuable experiences from you that they can take away from. And I just want to also thank the viewers for always tuning in. Is there any parting words that you want to say, Dr. Avi?
I want to thank you as well for giving me the opportunity to dialogue with you. It's a true pleasure. It's a breath of fresh air, and I'm looking forward to many more of these types of conversations. And to the viewers as well, I think um, we can learn as much from you as you can learn from us. So I'd love to
Mhm.
hear feedback, as we were talking about before, and any comments and critiques that you may have. And let's continue that growth mindset and
Yeah,
continuation of
beautiful.
learning.
Yes, thank you. That's a beautiful way of ending it. So again, I just want to say thank you to all my viewers. This has been your host, Candice Ruggiero, motivational speaker, a podcaster. And if you want more information, I have my website at www.candiceruggiero.com. I speak at conventions, conferences, professional development, and workshop. I speak on authenticity, intentionality, leadership, classroom triumph, and teacher empowerment and burnout. Again, stay intentional, stay excellent, and thank you for tuning in. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Thank you, Candice.